you know me, I was about to take all the money. But he's like, you know what? You can take less, and I'm going to bring in GP. I'm going to bring in White Chocolate. I'm going to bring in Antoine. I'm going to bring in Posey, guys like that. And I was like, damn, I'm going to take less money.
Thank you, by the way, because when people ask, when did you start with the Miami Heat?
Right.
I always say, I came with Shaquille.
Oh, you did?
That was my first year.
I didn't know that.
My job didn't exist until you were traded for.
I swear I didn't know that. That's crazy.
It is. I needed it because I was unemployed, so that was critical. Thank you. Did you realize that your move was going to impact so many different layers outside of you continuing to build this championship legacy? It was going to be this seismic thing that was going to occur for this organization, for the city, for individuals like me.
The answer to your question is no. Funny thing is, I still don't even know how I got here. No, seriously. So
What is the story? What's the story?
I've heard the different stories, but I've never heard it from Mitch or Pat. So apparently Pat was in L.A. doing something.
He does have a home there.
Yeah, and then they found out, and Pat says, I'll take him. That's one story. And then I heard that another story was supposed to go somewhere else, and then Pat was going to come after me. But when I got wind of it, and they said Miami wanted to trade for you, I thought about D-Wade instantly.
Yeah.
Because, I don't really watch other games, especially during play, especially if I had a bad performance. I gotta get in my mode. But I'm watching D-Wade annihilate Baron Davis. And I'm thinking back, okay, I know we played Miami twice. Who is this kid? I've never seen him. And I knew that if I was going to go to a new situation, I need somebody like that. So when I got wind of it, of however it happened, I said, you know what? I want to go to Miami.
Okay.
That's when I started making phone calls and say, hey, Miami or no. Like, apparently they're supposed to play me in Portland. And I told them, if you try to send me to Portland, I'm going to gain 700 pounds. You have to pay me the rest of my 4 or 5 years.
It's going to be tough on your knees.
Yeah. So, but I said, I'm not going to Portland. So they made a deal, and Pat had this crazy idea of, hey, we're going to ride you in the city in an 18-wheeler. I was like, what? And it wasn't planned, but when I got there and I was like, okay, this is what a parade feels like, that's when I said, you know what? I'm going to bring a championship to Miami.
Does it feel like all of that began 20 years ago?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And I can remember the day, and I can remember me saying that. Because I was already upset and still had a lot to prove, so I just needed some self-motivation for myself. And they had really good players, so we were close. I always tell people how that should have been our second championship. Because the first one, we lost the Eastern Conference Finals in Detroit. People forget I had a big thigh bruise and I couldn't really move. But I like to think we would have definitely, after we beat Detroit, we could definitely beat the Spurs.
So after that first year, because you felt like you should have won a championship, if I'm not mistaken, you guaranteed a championship, was that weighing on you?
Yeah, because, we all know this game is about trials and tribulations. And being so dominant and winning 3, and then you get away from your counterpart. Now they say, okay, was it him or was it you? Now, let's see you win without him. Yeah. But I knew what I had in D-Wade. That's why when I first came to town, I said, listen, I know you heard about what's going on. Here's how we're going to do this. You the man.
You add Antoine, Pose, J. Will. How important were those pieces as vets to get you guys to this next step?
I tell this story before, and it's one of the reasons why you got to love and respect Pat Riley. So before then, I was due some new money, and Pat calls me and says, "I love you.
Right.
We love you. If I give you this whole 125, you're gonna be there by yourself, or you can take less." And I'm going to bring in GP. I'm going to bring in White Chocolate. I'm going to bring in Antoine. I'm going to bring in Posey, guys like that. And I was like, damn. And I knew those guys were really tough guys. Didn't know if they could still play or not, but I was like, I know they definitely have experience. Or if we get to any tough situations, those guys should definitely be pulling out. So I was like, you know what? I'll take the less money. So I think kudos to Pat for having that bit. Because you know me, I was about to take all the money. I was living on expensive Star Island. I was about to take all that little money. But he was like, you know what? And he was straight. He said, "I love you." Like he always put stuff on this piece of paper. He's like, "You can do this. You're gonna be there by yourself, or you can do this." I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna take less money."
You brought up Gary. He wasn't sure about playing.
When I was in LA, I made Carl and Gary a promise: come play for minimum, and we're gonna win the championship. We made it to the finals, but we didn't win. So I said, "My guy, I owe you. Come on down here. Let's get it cracking. Miami, South Beach. Let's do what we got to do. Need you to help teach the young fellas, show those guys what it takes." It was a very enigmatic, unorthodox team. Now, you talk about all the championship teams. I think we are the most mysterious championship team ever. There's a lot of different guys that did a lot of different things, but when Pat put together that 15-strong campaign, as long as we all agreed on that, especially at the right time. Like when you got a bunch of different guys focusing on one thing at the same time, it can mean trouble for the opponent.
The first season, the lost championship, as you call it, you're hurt, Dwyane's hurt. The Pistons moved past you, but in the sense of trying to begin the season right and get toward a championship. Just walk us through, heading into that season, how you felt as you're stepping into 2005-06.
For me, stepping in every season is championship or bust. Like, okay, you come here and you get on the 18-wheeler and you promise the people and you lose in the Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. If you would have won that game, you would have went to the finals. That would have been okay, but for me, it's always championship or bust. So we had a eclectic group of characters. Took us a while to gel, but once we figured it out, and then once Pat took over, he just tightened things up. And once he took over, we really started to focus a little bit more.
Before Pat took over, walk us through that first part of the season. Those first 20 games didn't go as well as you probably wanted to. Your body wasn't flowing exactly at high octane. What was the proper feel for how you guys came out the gate?
I don't really remember, but obviously it wasn't up to everyone's liking. Mm-hmm. And I think when Pat took over, I think that was a perfect move for us. Like I always tell players, when you respect somebody's resume, it changes things.
Right.
Great thing about Pat, Coach Riley, is his stories. Mm-hmm. He has those damn Gene Hackman Hoosier speeches that just make you want to kill people.
Yeah.
Like I hate to go forward, but when we're down 0-2 versus Dallas, he gave a hell of a speech.
Yeah.
And then I think when the series was tied up, his speech was he came in, he said, "We're packing one suit. And when you get to the airport, I'm checking. Right. Anybody don't have one suit, I'm sending you home." Like, damn. So things like that. Yeah. So of course, player and all that, but the things like that just really get you going. And then when the general doesn't panic, the troops don't panic.
When he first took over, was there an adjustment period, or were you lockstep with where he was taking you all at that point?
Well, I had to be lockstep. Mm-hmm. I really react in a positive way towards discipline. We all know he's a no-nonsense disciplinarian guy. That's what I'm used to. I know him coming down, his name was on the line. My name was already on the line. And all the guys I was playing with, their name was on the line. GP, this is your chance to get one. Antoine, Posey, White Chocolate. Like, we have to, do this thing together. And, it was my job to try to keep the guys together. But, it was a very different team. But when it come time to step up, the guys were always there.
Talking about names, Dwyane Wade, you nicknamed him Flash. For those not locked in with the DC cinematic universe, why that name, and what did that mean to the galvanizing of what you guys were trying to do?
I named him Flash because he was very fast and elusive. Mm-hmm. People talk about the Euro step now. He was doing that back then.
Right.
Very fast and very elusive. So I named him Flash. And was a former player from Chicago who was a street baller. They kind of looked similar. He passed away. His name was Flash. And they kind of remind me of each other. So that's why I gave him the nickname. But, having played with guys of that caliber, I kind of had experience. See, with Penny Hardaway, he was a very look for you guy, didn't have to have a lot of conversation. Kobe was a me guy, so a lot of times we bump head. Didn't know how he was, but it didn't matter. I said, "This is your team. I'm going to adjust off you." I know a great player when I see it. Maybe my tactics with the first two were not correct, so I'm gonna just turn my tactics off. Because you know me, I'm like Pat. I'm in charge of this stuff. It's gonna go my way or else. But I had to turn it off because I didn't want to lose them early. So I was like, you know what? This is your team. He responded, and I just tried to encourage him. I tried to tell him stories. You know, like I always tell people what has made me great when I was a Laker. It wasn't practicing and working out. A gentleman by the name of Bill Burker. I never knew who he was. I just thought he was an old guy on the staff, and he would always tell me stuff.
Yeah.
And the first couple of years, I never listened to him. But then he was like, he got really upset. Damn it, stop going to the middle, go baseline. That's the same thing I told Will and Kareem. So I said, what'd you say? He said, yeah, I coach Will and Kareem. So now I'm like, I'm listening to him. So whenever I have a bad game, he called me and be like, he would just tell me stories. Yeah. So I took that and was like, okay, I'm going to just tell young fella stories. Like, you this and you that and you that. And, you know, we created a beautiful monster.
Gary Payton sat with us. He said there was a point where it was clear it needed to be Dwyane first, leading the team. How challenging, it sounds like because of your other experiences with Penny and Kobe, it was easier, but was it difficult at all to put the ball in Dwyane's hands first?
It wasn't really difficult. It's just I had to get out my own way. But once you got guys, your peers telling you that. So we had this big old fight in Chicago. Big old fight. And then the elders came in the room and they like jumped on me. Said, hey, man, you ain't the D's no more. Give it to young fella. It's like, my thing is, the pressure's on me. And we don't win. You're looking at Mr. Riley, and they're looking at me.
Right.
They ain't looking at, they're not looking at the guy that says, SHAQ will have another. They're not looking at you. They're not looking at...
We're going to be a Monte shout-out in the show. Phenomenal.
They looking at me, so I was always, okay, if you're looking at me, that's what I got to do. But, you know, when you get your mind, even when you get older, and you have a strong mind, your mind says, oh, I'm still averaging 30, 40 in the playoffs, but starting to get old. I think it was 32, 33 at the time. The guy's like, bro, get him the ball. So once the elder statesman came down, I said, all right, we're gonna do it your way.
So you got all the pieces seemingly you need, but there was one more addition. You had to get the vets that were currently in that hunger mode for a championship. You had to align Dwyane properly in the order of things. But one of your rivals, not just from the league, but all the way back from your draft class, and I'm sure basketball before that, Alonzo Mourning is returning. How challenging was that for the two of you all to reestablish what your relationship?
I always tell him I owe him an apology.
Why so?
He's a great man.
Absolutely.
Never knew that.
Okay. You said some things on the floor. In his ear.
So Pat calls me in the office. I'm like, damn. At that time, we call it the principal's office. So he called me in the office. He doesn't say anything the first couple of seconds. He said, what do you think about Alonzo Mourning? And I'm like, I know that's his guy. So I'm like, why are you asking about Alonzo Mourning? In my mind. He said he wants to come play. What do you think? Now, I play checkers, but I also play chess. If he's on the market, we need to snatch him up so I don't have to battle against him. I said, Pat, I'd love to have him. And then he came and he had his growl, I had my growl, and we shook hands, we started laughing. But after just watching him and hang out with him, I finally, I think before the finals, I said, let me holler at you for a second. He said, I owe you an apology. Get out of here, man. I said, nah.
It's not about Alonzo.
I said, I owe you an apology. He said, why? I said, I always thought you was a certain word.
Yes.
He said, I thought the statement about you. I hate using this word, so I hope I can find a better word. He was the grandpa of the elder statesman. You know me, I'm silly first, but he'd be like, hey, big fella, stop messing around.
At the end of that regular season, it seemed like you all were surging, like you were playing some of your best basketball. Were things going as well as it looked at that point?
Just really trying to find our way and find our identity. You know, I think, Pat did a good job of helping us search for that. Again, his speeches were amazing. And the way he set things up and, he just, like he had it all set up in his mind how it's supposed to be and what it's going to be. It really put pressure on myself and then D-Wade to make sure that the guys were ready. But I'm trying to go back and remember. But you're right, we weren't playing at championship level, but we were, like I always tell people, I'd rather find it than have it and lose it.
Right.
Because I've been on a lot of teams where you have it and you're invincible, and then you take that one loss and you take two losses and start to panic. We were so up and down that there was no panic in us.
You talked about some of the discourse that ended up being good, but with so many strong personalities, you're going to have some of that. Was there anything that you remember behind the scenes of having to deal with the percolation?
Man, we almost fought a lot, but everything was said respectfully, nothing disrespectfully. But when you got alpha dogs in there, everybody's going to test the lead dog. Everybody's going to test the one that wants to be the lead dog. And, Pat let us handle our own situation sometime, or he just come downstairs and did it. But probably one of my favorite championship seasons because we wanted to win it. Nobody thought we could win it. Pat takes us to practice one day, cancels practice, shows us Glory Road.
I remember that.
Which is about him.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Well, partially.
Yeah, and then after that, he gives us a speech, and then, you know what? We're gonna win this thing.
Yeah.
So it's probably one of the weirdest but best championship runs, especially in my career. But I think throughout the league, because they would mention us. They have a shot at winning it. I don't think they're going to win. They got a bunch of old veterans. Oh, watch out for Detroit and all that stuff. And we found our stride at the right time and became unstoppable.
For the first time in franchise history, the Miami Heat are going to the NBA Finals.
You get to the finals in the first two games in Dallas. Do not go the way you want.
And we get Molly-Whopped.
Why?
Well, I didn't have my best finals, and this is another reason why I love Alonzo Mourning. Saved my.
Jason Terry leans in. Mourning with a block. Does Alonzo Mourning want this more than anybody else?
I didn't have a Shaq-like finals. It was old. Just wasn't Shaq. I was there, but it just wasn't right. But still tried to do other things. And, I can remember that was the first time me and D-Wade had a little argument. Say, hey, man, don't be waiting on me. Go to work. No, man, no. Forget all that. Go.
He eventually listened to you.
Yeah, no, he did. Because those 4 games, I haven't seen a run like that ever.
With Dwyane still being so young, this is his second pro year. When you push him even further, as you guys get to game 3, what do you think he was most resistant about? He let it go eventually, obviously.
No, it's
it's just a respect for you.
Again, it's about stories. And I told him, don't be waiting on me. Mm-hmm. They doubling, they tripling. I ain't shooting free throws well.
Right.
Forget all that right now. We down 0-2. We lose this game tomorrow, we're going to be done. He's going to be 11th in the league. I need 40. And the reason why I would do him like that because all my other greats, when I tell them I need something, they get it done. Penny, hey man, my knee hurting. I need you to go off for 30. Get it done. Kobe, I need 40. I need to do it. So I was like, you know what? I haven't really tested him out like this, but.
What a time.
Yeah, the time now. So,
what a time.
Nah, I ain't going out like this.
Wade, it's good. 1-point game. Another banker. 41.
He listened and, wow.
Yeah, that fueled the I'm not going out like that message.
Yes, it did.
It impacted you too when he started playing like that?
Yeah, because now that first of all, we already knew what we had.
There's a pass to O'Neal and a foul.
But now that he has the cape on, now we got to keep that fuel on the back. It's a lot of stuff going on. Pat has this damn bowl in the middle of the thing, and it's covered up, and everybody wants to know what's in it. We're like, damn, money in there, rings, jewelry. Oh, nobody really knew what was in it, but the stories he put around that, and we focus on that, and he and the town preached it so much, it started to become how we thought, 15 strong, especially down 0-2.
Yeah.
Barkley and Ernie and Kenny don't think we're going to win. It's us against everybody. And, I think that's when guys like Pat, myself, D-Wade, Alonzo, I think that's when we rise to the occasion.
They'll go to Texas with Miami up 3-2.
A long shot, rimmed out. Wade has got it. Wade will hold on. Miami has won. Miami is NBA champs. The Heat have won it. We're NBA champions!
Game 6, you get it done. All those images behind you, they note it. For most guys, no, everybody, except for you, they're first. It's your fourth, as you're noting, literally in that photo right behind your head. What did that do to an already cemented legacy? What elevation occurs in that moment?
I mean, for me, I was happy, but I'm not one of those guys. You know, my first 3, I was. This one, it wasn't about me. So
I love covering those first.
Yeah, I did.
Those first ones.
So,
we were something else.
This one, it wasn't about me. It was about us.
Yeah.
So I was happy, but I'm looking at D-Wade. Man, he's happy. I'm looking at my good friend Alonzo. Damn, I'm looking at Posey. Damn, GP, like, thanks, big fella.
Right.
Like, even though it wasn't the SHAQ, we did it as a team. It felt great. It ain't about me. It's about him. But I'm looking at him like, damn, he's happy. And he running, jumping in my arm. Thanks, big fella.
Thinking back to that time, Shaquille, the star power was a star power. There were just so many pieces to this team that were interesting. They had interesting life stories. I loved being around you all after practice and after shoot-arounds. And obviously, when you guys are playing your best, it was unbelievable and enjoyable to watch. But what was it for you that was special about the fact that 15 strong just wasn't this moniker? Like, even guys that weren't playing were important to how you all prepared.
It's always been about 15 strong.
Yeah, a lot of doubters this year, but everybody in this room, we believe in each other. You guys believe in us. Give yourself a round of applause.
The most fun I had was because it became familiar. Once we start playing like that, the crowd, the white hot,
So good.
the restaurants.
That we still have, by the way, the white hot to this day. Right.
The beach, going in prime 112, people clapping and you eating free. I'm like, this feels familiar.
Yeah.
As the former king of LA,
Come on.
I know exactly what it feels like.
Coast to coast.
Everybody got that treatment, by the way.
Right.
So the guys felt like,
Oh, all of us did.
yes.
Thank
So
you,
the
Shaquille.
guys felt like they were a part of something.
Right.
And then again, when you that 15 strong thrown in our face all day, and us believed in it, you know, just living the life.
Come on.
Everything started to become believable.
You could roll with Capono in the
Yeah.
streets, baby. We can
Yeah.
do it. We can do it.
Capono.
Is there anything about this group that's not discussed that should be? Is there the proper placement historically for the franchise in the league?
I think I'm not familiar with a lot of championship teams, of course, the ones that are most celebrated, but this has to be the weirdest one to win a championship.
Why weird?
Because we did a lot of stuff we weren't supposed to do. We had fun.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We were very unorthodox. Very unorthodox.
There's absolutely no way to properly celebrate this championship without you, the centerpiece, literally and figuratively. We appreciate you.
Thank you.